Welcome to the President and CEO Focus on the Middle Market podcast series, where President and CEO founder Paul Stukel discusses middle market issues with business leaders from across the nation. Today, in part one of a three-part series, Paul speaks with Roger Nanney, new managing partner for Deloitte Growth Enterprise Services, about its most recent Mid-Market Perspectives report.
Roger, it's great to meet you. Again, I've known Tom for a while, and you just sort of came onto this role. What's your background with Deloitte?
Well, actually, been with Deloitte now going on 32 years. I started with the firm right out of grad school. I've had a number of different roles in the firm. Interestingly enough, I actually started out serving in this mid-market space and worked and ultimately made partner in the firm serving the mid-market. I've gone on to lead practices in different parts of the country and have worked with our largest clients in the office of the CEO, and now have the opportunity to sort of come full circle and continue the success that Tom's and the practice has had under his leadership.
Yeah, that's neat. You're right. It's kind of a full circle thing. I was interested in the report. Obviously, it's pretty optimistic, with obviously some caveats, which is to be expected, I suppose, in this environment. But my take on it, having read the thing and looking at other similar type of surveys from other sources, and from talking to CEOs myself, I mean, my sense is that there's almost a sense of impatience expressed in the results, and what I mean by that is the level of uncertainty, while maybe having been mitigated a little bit, is still there, but it seems like people have finally come to the conclusion and said, "The heck with it, I'm just going to push through." Is that a misreading of that, or what do you think?
Well, it's an interesting take. I probably look at it more from the standpoint of these CEOs and the respondents to the survey have come to the conclusion, partly through their learning process over the last 3 or 4 years, that uncertainty is, in many respects, here with us, going to continue to be with us, and it's time to exercise some leadership and sort of manage through this. I mean, it's buoyed by the fact that they've shored up their balance sheets and have put themselves in a position to take action, which I think is, as well what's contributing to the sort of the encouraging view that we see in the survey. One of
the things that struck me, and this is something that is on the minds of a lot of people these days, is the talent shortage. The inability to find sort of qualified workers in various places. It doesn't seem to come out as much in your report. I mean, A.T. Kearney just released a report that just added to sort of this evidence that companies are really struggling to find qualified folks in STEM workers, but even in just regular skilled workers. That didn't seem to come out in the report. Is there a reason for that, do you think, or what's your thought on that?
There would be a couple of points there. I do think it does to some extent show itself in the survey. If you look around at some of the sort of the obstacles that are out there that might impact their growth, I think it was a little over half of the executives said that it was difficult to find new employees with the skills and the education background that they needed to meet the needs of their business, especially when they're focused on trying to grow and look at innovative ways to expand their business. So I do think it shows itself in the survey to some extent. It's part of a handful of obstacles that are out there, but it's sort of back to the point of this increased confidence and the idea that there are any number of things that leaders have to deal with and manage through, and the talent issue is one of those. On the other side of this, though, I do think that through some other surveys I've seen, one that our human capital practice recently issued had to do with the whole talent acquisition model, and the fact that many companies in the mid-market today are looking at the old traditional ways of the way they staffed and hired need to be dealt with and changed in some ways, and we need to look at other models of the way we hire, train, and develop people, and that would be, I think, something that would put more of a positive spin on it. To the extent you're creative in the way you think about your talent model. You're taking advantage of sort of the social media tools that are out there today to access new employee bases. It gives you, I think, again, more confidence that you can deal with the issues that you have in terms of finding the skill sets that you need.
Come back tomorrow for part 2 of our discussion. Thanks for listening.